Chaz is that. Shop is gone on the Soyless Matt Show. Job over celebration special. But, before we can celebrate the end of Chaz, we need to know what is even a Chaz. That's why I have a great explanation by a Chaz enthusiast and a real beautiful woman. She. And I also have testimony from people who were actually there.
The East Precinct in Seattle was being abandoned. I assume that they were doing that with the intent to have protesters set it on fire and then talk about how, like, there's chaos and civil unrest. But you know what they did instead? What they did was they created an autonomous zone around the police department. An autonomous zone essentially means we do not live in the United States of America. We live in our own, call it a country. The thing about it is it is a zone. And I'm really, this just makes me want to come. If you're not under the purview of the United States government, all of a sudden, life is way better. All of a sudden, you've got somewhere to fucking sleep at night. All of a sudden, you've got food for your family.
But there has been an issue here of sexual predators.
When I went Saturday, I managed to see 3 assaults back to back within an hour.
Really?
So, yeah.
Mental illness is a major problem. Sexual predators is also a major problem. And thirdly, we have a lot of people in here with no place to go that are subjected to both of these issues as young adults, as kids. So they're stuck here with maybe their right mind, but no help.
So the first assault that happened was the older black guy is yelling at the guy cooking Chinese food. He's like, this is not sanitary. You need to leave. Yeah. So then people started pushing over his stuff. He's like, you're a hypocrite. And he points his finger in his face. The 60-year-old militia man's named Ronald decks that guy right in the face. So I'm there for 10 minutes already. The Chaz police has just assaulted a person.
We're getting a lot of reports of women that are missing out of the chop. So we're gonna deploy with our phones, not necessarily go lives and things like that, but we want to be able to interview people who, they might have came here with somebody days ago and they were tinted, and now the person they came with here is missing, and now they're not gonna go to the police with that.
Some black lady got up, was speaking nice and saying like, hey, you guys are co-opting this. This is about George Floyd. It's not about Coachella. As she is saying that, a guy comes through with a 2x4. It just whacks with a 2x4 over somebody who's cooking like a brisket and just knocks the whole barbecue over.
So no food. So they took out the Chinese food maker and the barbecue guy?
Exactly.
And we see that the CHOP security, they've apprehended basically a rapist. They caught him in the act, and he had to try to attack a woman with a broken bottle. CHOP security ends up taking the guy. They figured the best thing they could do is just drop him off somewhere far away from the CHOP. They're not experienced in whatever. The police come, and the police were like, okay, well look, without a victim, this is gonna be difficult or whatever. And they're like, man, if you guys can go find the victim, then we'll wait up at Harborview Medical Center for the victim. We spent some hours out there just trying to find this woman, and we weren't able to. And then a few days later, the same guy back in here in the CHOP.
There was a young woman that went missing, and by way of Facebook and the internet, people saw her face, and she was recovered. So your help is all of our problem, and your help will be greatly needed in this.
If there's any other media like TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, I know you guys a lot of times follow the stream, man, hit me up. There's people that come up missing out here, you know what I'm saying? We're more than happy to tell you everything that we know so we can bring awareness of these individuals who've come up missing. So, we're on that tomorrow.
Can't even make a brisket.
He leaves. I follow the militia around because they're all talking to each other trying to find him. He finally comes back. He's screaming like, "Shoot me!" You know, whatever. And he's like, "You get near me, I'm gonna kill you." The same quote unquote cop who punched the cook starts getting up there and is making his way straight towards the guy with the 2x4. Mm-hmm. As he gets there, some white homeless guy jumps in. "Hey man, this is my friend. You know, you need to back off." And the older black cop sees this guy. He gets a little too close. He decks him right in the face, completely unprovoked. Mm-hmm. Punches him in the face, and then pulls out pepper spray and pepper spray.
You like that? And that's the thing, is you don't need to work at a McDonald's 9 to 5 in order to subsist in a society. That's just what society wants you to think.
Like there's a cafe that's called the Decolonization Cafe where you're supposed to have... I'm not making any of these up.
If it's an autonomous zone based on community solidarity, do I need to worry about finding a job? Do I need to worry about fucking paying rental fees? I don't know. Maybe I can just go there, help people out, you know, and I'm good to go.
Were they serious with that farm, or was that just like symbolic? Because that farm looked retarded.
It was, yes, it was. And so when I first went, I went at every stage of Chaz. Initially, there was that crap where somebody just put down a tarp. Yeah. My understanding was people thought that you need to put like cardboard or something underground so like gophers can't come up and get to it, but
and we'll talk about, you know what I'm saying, like the tragic murders of Lorenzo Anderson and the young man last night. As man, these were things along the way, unfortunately, but along the way to make our city a better and greater city. You know, if not, then it's like, you know, what was this all about?
In the whole East Precinct, there was 2 homicides in 2019, and that whole precinct is like 20 times the size of Chaz.
Okay.
And so Chaz has had 2 homicides in 3 weeks.
That's pretty
so
bad.
If you do the math, that's like 330 times the homicide rate of what it used to be.
Well, there's a learning curve.
Yeah, there's a learning curve.
There's a learning curve. You know, they'll straighten it out. If they'd had time, they would have, you know, matched probably the surrounding area.
Yeah,
but, you know, things start a little squirrely.
This is anarchism. This is how it works.
Man, we're getting a lot of reports of women missing out here.
It's not just women. It's majority women, a couple trans women.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Yes, let us think about it. Imagine a world where everyone can call themselves the police and just kill people for whatever reason. Imagine a country where people try to fix the problem of too many women going missing after getting raped with iPhones and Facebook accounts. Let us dream of a world where you can let go of that pesky McDonald's job forced upon you by your lack of high school education and instead work at a cafe called the De-Whitenizer for no money, for you see, that high as fuck homeless guys making us a farm. Look, it's free food for everyone. It's a fucking miracle. And although many imbeciles will be distracted by the homeless guy dancing to the goddess Gaia for great harvest, only high IQ people like myself can understand the true importance of white Afro guy over there, who discovered the best way of getting food out of the ground is hitting cardboard with a hammer. Look at it. Smash cardboard, whitey, do it for the food. But alas, the very shocking news to progressives and no one else, that Chaz was done and that it only lasted 3 weeks, came to us and made all of us very sad because we lost a thing that made us laugh so much. Oh no, the giggles will be over, but the memories will be forever. So let's remember the last days of Chaz to get as sweet as schadenfreude.
But like not having people in there and the police all around it again, it feels like day one almost.
So the beginning of the end of the great Chaz Empire dynasty began with a tweet, the last testament of the immortal Chaz Empire. And it said, an important message from #shop Seattle. please amplify like you should amplify me by subscribing. Wink. Thank you for your support over the last 2 weeks. Hashtag shop was a success. Hashtag shop communist. Hashtag shop peace. And then a bunch of umbrellas. More on that later. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. And the last tweet of the Eternal Empire called Chaz had a longer message within. Let me read you some of it. Dear commenters in the struggle, over the last 2 weeks we achieved what no one thought possible. We successfully built a self-governing community and convinced city leaders to get the police to kick us out. However, we are now left with the reality that very few people remain in our beloved shop. It is time we shift to the next phase of our organizing, move from direct action to virtual activism. We call for everyone to continue the struggle through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. The shop project is now concluded. While we expect a very few handful of holdouts may try to remain, the numbers on site will be too small to be more than an annoyance for pedestrians. Thank you everyone for your support. Please remember to continue supporting the kind of revolutionary change we just created by voting for Joe Biden. And a bunch of other people I've never heard of. They also talked about how the police was gonna retake the area. And they did.
You know, today what we see is the Seattle Police Department basically coming back into a precinct that they abandoned. We were literally there.
Everyone was asleep in their tent, so it was very early in the morning. They said, you have 3 minutes to leave or you'll be arrested. And I went to use the bathroom, and then I came back, and I just got what I could out of my tent, and they were already at my tent. And then we start running, and they take our tents, and then they throw them.
And thus began the end of Chaz as the police went super early in the morning and kicked them all out. Look at this beautiful place. This is lovely, lovely footage. Look at that. The police removing the filth, cleaning up the cities. Less crime, more peace. I love the police. Less crime, all peace. I love the police. Woo! Kick them out. Gotta remove the illegal terrorists from the cities. They have to carry their shit too. Look at the guy got arrested. Beautiful. This is justice. Less crime, more peace. Let's go, police. Woo! I love the police. Look at that guy on the white with the white shirt. He wants to go back to the Chaz. Oh, so sad. He got confronted by justice. Let's go. Police tsunami. Woo! Go police, get him! Let's cry, now peace! Let's cry, more peace! Let's go, police! Woo! I love the police! Let's go! Hands up, shoot him anyway! Hands up, shoot him! I'm joking, it's a joke! They took him to the ground. It's like 10 of them versus the one. I'm so happy! Woo! He went down! And they went down to the ground as 1,000 police officers got on top of them. Criminality will never be forgiven! No crime! All peace! Let's go, police! Woo! It's fun. Look at how they left Chaz. Disgusting, but empty of the filthiest filth. Now it looks like this. Beautiful! Beautiful!
That green bunker or that green container right there, that's the container where a lot of the art was put into. So, you consider it successful today so far?
Everything went well.
Any injuries to your officers?
Not that I know of.
Any injuries reported at protesters that you know of? Okay.
Another question. How many arrests are confirmed? I don't know the exact number. I think it's over 20 right now.
Over 20 arrests?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Which, looking back at it now, means that their actual operation, once they started moving to reclaim this precinct, didn't even last 30 minutes. It wasn't even 30 minutes. The officers were able to come through here and and basically push people out of the chop. So let me read this out to everybody. And apparently this came out this morning at 4:58 a.m. The mayor issued a proclamation of civil emergency regarding the East Precinct and Cal Anderson Park earlier today. The order declared the gathering in the area as an unlawful assembly, requiring immediate action from city agencies, including the Seattle Police Department. The city has spent weeks on voluntary efforts to urge people to leave the Cal Anderson Park and giving emerging circumstances and recent shootings. Oh man, this proclamation is really long.
But as per usual with these protests, the real fun begins at night.
Thank you. I just need
Look. Hold on. They got the rubber bullet gun. Right there.
Sue the police station after you get out. Call the ACLU, sue their ass.
Look at us sell out. Mr. Griffin, you're a sellout, boy.
White bodies in the front. White bodies should not be in the front. White bodies in the front. White bodies in the front.
Battalion 5, raise your hands. You will be the all-important first attack wave, which we will call Operation Human Shield. Battalion 14, you are Operation Get Behind the Darkies. You will follow Battalion 5 here. Are there any questions, men? Yes, soldier.
Have you ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation?
I don't listen to hip-hop.
You have to put on a fucking uniform to matter. I just have to wear my fucking skin, you stupid prick.
And remember those umbrellas? Well, a lot of Antifa-looking soymen with umbrellas showed up that night to oppose the police and try to retake Chaz. But sadly, none of them had muscle, so they couldn't. One of them tried turking at the police, but that didn't work.
These guys have been at it one way or another for at least 12 hours out here, if not longer.
Okay, one last video. This is really fucking good. It's like pornography to me. The big thing that's gonna be eaten by the machine and crushed was the main tent of Chaz, the main one, the big one. And now it's being crushed by city janitors. They're cleaning up the filth. Look at that. Isn't it so relaxing? This is medicine for the heart. All the bad people get their comeuppance. The schadenfreude is such a good feeling now. Look at it. Lifting it. And then throwing it into the big truck of the trash. That's the trash can. Look at that. Look at how it opens its jaws. That's to laugh. It's laughing at the filth it's removing. If you're ever sad of anything, seeing all the bad people get their massive comeuppance and justice prevailing, it's the best. It will cure your heart of any sadness.